When I was growing up, I used to spend time on my grandfather's farm and helping out and doing chores and whatnot. At 8 years old, I was involved in a tractor accident where my pant leg got caught on a power takeoff shaft on the back of a tractor, and it wound it up to where it had to be amputated. So growing up, it kind of made me feel a little different. I was subject to bullying a lot. Being physically disabled, there wasn't a whole lot of people there that understood, or I felt that understood where I was coming from. As I grew older, I kind of turned to drugs and in that crowd because at the time they felt like they were more accepting. As long as you had drugs, nobody cared about the physical disability or the differences. And so then I kind of got on the wrong path in life. Along with the drug use, I kind of gave up a lot on life and really didn't care what happened to me. I've been in and out of jail several times for different offenses, most of them driving on suspendeds and whatnot. Like I said, I really didn't care. I had no real path in life. I felt like I was out of opportunities and that I'd kind of missed my chance in life. I didn't know where to turn. And even in jail, it was simply a punishment. It always felt in jail and then kicked out of jail, nobody cared afterwards. The re-entry team kind of approached me and said, "Hey, would you be willing to go into drug rehab or whatnot?" And at first I was a little hesitant. I was like, I have a 90-day sentence, I'm out and I don't have to worry about it. I mean, I'll be free and not care. They didn't really accept that answer from me. They kept coming back to me and no matter how negative I was or whatnot, they kept asking, do you really want to go back to that lifestyle? And honestly, I didn't.
Being incarcerated or being put in jail is a huge disruption to anybody's life. You're talking about losing jobs, losing potentially relationships with your family members, losing housing, suffering from addiction or suffering from mental health. So none of that generally gets better while you're in custody. So having that extra piece there of reentry that helps bridge that gap from getting out of custody to being successful in the community is really what our focus is. Our main approach with most of the work that we do is just meeting the inmate where they're at. So there are different stages of change that a person can be in, and we can't force them into one or the other. So we use skills as case managers to engage them in those conversations and kind of provide them that self-motivation, but really ultimately it's their choice. So while we use skills and do our work on our end, it's a decision on the inmate's part of whether or not this is something that they want.
The very first time I met with him, there was a little bit of resistance as far as wanting maybe reentry or case management services, not necessarily recognizing that there was a risk or a need at the time, but it was just coming back and touching base like, hey, here's who I am, let's talk. Eventually, after talking, you start to break down some people, their barriers, and being able to open up as to who you are as a person, why services might be needed, and then we just kind of went from there. We continued with building a rapport with each other and being able to talk about the things that had maybe ended up in trouble cycles for individuals, and then how we address it, like what barriers he had and what are the things that he could envision for his future and his success.
They came back and they showed that they had an interest in my life, and with that interest, then it made me kind of spark interest in I can do this. And it gave me hope, and it gave me a way to go, which I really appreciated.
Showing that consistency and showing that care and compassion can go a long way. and that we're not going to give up on them, that we're here to support them.
You could definitely see the light bulb aha moment kick in with him. We went from one day having a terrible conversation, and then the next day it was like the light, like being able to see that change in his expression, that change in his reaction. And he did ask, you know, if I just cussed at you the day before, why would you keep coming back to work with me? But they're human, and we all deserve that same respect at the end of the day. And if I ever found myself being in a negative situation, I would want somebody to do the same for me.
And so they gave me a chance. They got me into the AAH program with Carwoo. I was in the First Step house for a little over 2 months. And then the opportunity came about to where I could move to the Second Step house, which is where I'm at now at the Meraki house. I was able to obtain full-time employment and start moving up the ladder there, and kind of earning some self-esteem along the way. Got over into the Meraki house, and I've continued to be employed at one place or another. I got back into school. I'm now in Johnson County Community College. After getting out of jail, I've reconnected with my parents. We actually have a really good relationship, as well as with my brother. The reentry staff at Douglas County amazes me. They actually showed that they cared, and that's a lot of my drive even to this day, is, you know, people that owed me absolutely nothing, they don't have to do that. There's absolutely nothing saying they have to care. They've shown me that they've cared. They've invested their time, their patience, lots of resources they've invested in me, and I refuse to disappoint them.
It's a powerful moment, and you know what we found is everybody wants to say, oh, thank you reentry, thank you case manager, thank you everybody, but really it's them that does the work.
If you feel a glimmer that you want the change, then I 100% think people should go for it. Like, it's never too late to change your life. Like, we make decisions every day that can change our outcome, and so I think it's important to focus on, if you want to change that lifestyle, there's people that can help you and be resourceful, and if you want that, absolutely reach out.
My advice to anybody that's going through struggles is that it's never too late. You know, I'm 43 years old. I'm back in school. I have a full-time job. Life is good. Don't give up. There are people that do care. It's all a matter of mindset. Everybody has something to offer this world. Take the opportunity to let your light shine and to give your gift back to the world.